Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Shechazarta B'Nishmati B'Chem La, Rava Emunatecha, Emunatecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Shechazarta B'Nishmati B'Chem La, Rabba Emunatecha Emunatecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Shechazarta B'Nishmati B'Chem La, Rabba Emunatecha Emunatecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Shechazarta B'Nishmati B'Chem La, Rabba Emunatecha Emunatecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Shechazarta B'Nishmati B'Chem La, Rabba Emunatecha Emunatecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Modani, Modani, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, Ruach Chai V'Kayam, שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, אמונתך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים. שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, אמונתך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים. שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, אמונתך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים. שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, אמונתך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים. שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, אמונתך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. מודה אני, מודה אני, מודה אני לפניך. רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים, רוח חי וקיים. שחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, Rabba Amunatecha. Once more, Moda Ani, Modani lefanecha, Modani lefanecha, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam, Ruach Chai v'kayam. Shechazarta bi nishmati b'chem la, Rabba emunatecha.
Boker Tov, everyone. Can you put it on mute? Mute. You have to put it on mute. Yeah.
Sandy's on mute.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
Sorry. That's it. I'm really honored today to have my mother-in-law, Sandy, and my wife, Mindy's here, and we're in the same room, so we're just working on the technical challenges. Welcome, everyone. This is our third week in our series of our journey from Pesach to Shavuot, from liberation to revelation, and we're continuing our journey of purifying ourselves, creating ourselves as open channels for that divine flow, for that love force to flow through us, and for us to be that clear, untangled voice and life of God. And so we are continuing on our journey through the Song of Songs, and we're still in chapter 4, which is about the sweetness of that relationship with the divine, that betrothal and that connection. Last week we did Libaftini, Achoti Kala, and it was about creating awareness of poignancy, and at those moments when our hearts are ravished with the kind of paradox of the beauty and the sadness of any particular moment. So we were practicing that practice. This week, we're doing a new practice, which is from chapter 4, verse 11. I'll put it up in the chat here. Yeah, Sandy, there was no email that went out. Apologies for that. It was, but there it is. If you want to see the Hebrew in larger text, click on the link and then it can pop up for you to see it. This chant is talking about, the Hebrew translation of it is, your lips, my bride, drip honey. Honey and milk are under your tongue. And so we know that the metaphor of honey and milk was when the Israelites made it to the promised land and they had achieved liberation. And we all know that we're still on that journey of internal and external liberation. So this is a powerful chant, and Shefet is teaching us to use this chant as to overcome one of the major spiritual challenges that we face, which is to sweeten the bitterness within us. So a bitterness can accumulate within us without even knowing it, from small or large disappointments, regret, unhealed grief, grudges, anxiety, resentment. All these things can fall under the kind of bitterness framework. And she found that the Baal Shem Tov actually had an approach to managing bitterness, to sweeten bitterness, if you will. It's a 3-step pathway that the Baal Shem Tov taught. Hakna'a, being humbled and surrendering and yielding to that divine flow or God presence. Havdalah, discerning the God presence in the midst of it. And then Hamsaka, sweetening our bitterness. So this chant really is from a place of soul growth, the opportunity for us to, transform that bitterness into sweetness. And I've been doing this chant all week since Monday, almost a week. And I had this moment on last Thursday morning walking by the Chesapeake Bay where I'm at now. And I just realized all this bitterness that, I'm layered with. And when I released it, it was just very liberating. So I invite you to practice or consider smiling while you're chanting this chant as an experiment, and offering on the altar of the chant the acknowledgement of bitterness that you may have on your own journey, and the promise of the honey and milk of your own promised land. So I do want to go over the Hebrew a little bit here in the flow of the chant because it's a little complicated, and I had a hard time with it, so I thought I would decode it a little bit. It's nofet titofna sifotai kala. And then, the nofet titofna, you repeat that 3 times, and then sifotai kala 1 time, and then that whole thing goes through 2 cycles. Then the second part of the chant is divash v'chalav, and you do that 3 times, and then it ends with tachat leshonech. And then you do that whole second line 2 times. So it's decoded here in the chat. I hope that will help you kind of pick up Jody's rhythm a little bit. If don't worry about it. It isn't. Chanting is not a spectator sport. So it's that energy that you're putting out and sharing, and you can just hum it or go with the beats if the words become too complicated for you. Over to you, Jody.
Good morning, everyone. So as Paul said, nofet titofna sitotayich kala davash v'kalav tachat leshonach. Your lips, my bride, drip honey. Honey and milk are under your tongue. So you want that sweetness of the honey to taste it in your mouth. And with a smile, you'll be reminded. Nofet titofna, nofet titofna, nofet titofna, sitotaich kala. Nofet titofna, nofet titofna, nofet titofna, sitotaich kala. Davash Bekalav, Dvash Bekalav, Dvash Bekalav, Takot Leshonech, Dvash Bekalav, Dvash Bekalav, Dvash Bekalav, Takot Leshonech, Nofet titofna, nofet titofna, nofet titofna, sitotaich kala. Nofet titofna, nofet titofna, nofet titofna, sitotaich kala. Dvash V'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leshonech. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leshonech. Nofet Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech. Once more, nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna nofet, Titofna siftotaich kala. Dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, dvash v'kalav, takot leishonech. And now we go into balancing the counting of the Omer. Today we're on day 21, the 6th of Iyar. Shekinah Malchut Shabbateferet, sovereignty in truth. We're in week 3 of the Omer. Whoops, hold on. And this is from Susan Wendell's book, Counting of the Omer. Dear lovers, when I keep a lid on my longing, my thirsts not surprisingly go unmet. I dry up, I shrivel inside, and I cannot offer fluidity, the gifts that are mine to give. So today, once again, I put aside my expectations for the day, what I thought I should be doing, for an extended walk in the Wissahickon Mount Woods, my nearest, most beloved wilderness. There I met a doe, ankle deep in the stream for which she thirsts. We gazed at each other for a long time, a long, holy moment. After she bounded off, I began to chant from Psalm 42. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. I continued my wanderings, gratefully humming Shepha's melody. I saw a wood thrush in a rich russet coat, especially vivid in spring, always a delight to see and hear. He lured me to a perfectly comfortable sitting place on the remains of a fallen tree tulip, and I stayed there, chanting among the mosses while he perched above, carrying on with his long succulent song. With him, I continued my own chant of longing, and my thirst was thoroughly quenched, wholly satisfied. What sweet harmonies, what precious gifts are ours when led by our longing. We take the time, go to the place, Hamakom, that draws us and receive. I must learn this again and again, it seems. Now here we are in the gate of Shekinah Shabbateferet, presence and harmony, sovereignty and truth. And here's a poem to honor the Queen of Truth. Emet, truth. With homage to Deborah Koff Chapin from her soul card 079. And this is an image of that card. The truth is innocent, a child of light. With an impish grin, she bursts from an overlooked corner of your house. With the most radiant hair, I'm here. Did you forget me? Does her nakedness embarrass you? Her shameless presence put you to shame? Do not be so quick to cover. Her delight is your saving grace. She will burn through any veiling. You can trust that. The dimness of your memory is a foil for the emerging brilliance of her wit. What she has to tell you, what she has to give will be offered in her time. Beloved, in her time. Protect her then, feed and guard her holy flame. She is your charge, beginning and end of all your days, true reason for your being, final word of your core prayer. Closing out our third week together, friends, in the name of all that is holy, I am yours, Shoshana Asiel. And now we will go into that chant. Longing, Kein nafshi te'erog elecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God, from Song chapter 42, verse 2. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water down by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Once more, just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi tarog elecha Elohim.
So let's just keep our eyes closed and stay in the magic and the majesty of this chant, realizing our longing for God, tasting that honey under our lips, and just allow the medicine from both these chants to permeate through our cells as we breathe deeply. Allow the crown of your head just to gently pull you up a little bit towards the sky. Feel your lumbar spine begin to straighten and lengthen. Just feel a slight arch in your back, allowing your heart to turn slightly up to the sky. And just feel yourself deep belly breathing, using your core muscles. And we're just going to open with a brief Yud He Vav He meditation that we're going to hold our breath on each inhalation and exhalation. And we're going to visualize different parts of our body coming alive as we do this. So just do what comes for you, but try to follow the best you can. And let's just breathe in through our third eye, Yud, and exhale He through our heart. Breathe in Vav through our heart. Exhale He through our torso. Let's repeat. Breathe in Yud through our third eye. And allow that frequency of energy and light to penetrate through our brain stems, through our Chokhmah and Bina. And exhale He. Exhaling light and love to each of us. Breathe in Vav through our heart center. Breathing in light, love, clarity. Exhaling through our torso, grounding ourselves. Breathe in Yud through our third eye, our crown, Bina and Chokhmah. Exhale, just letting it all out through our heart center, just showering each of us with love and joy. Breathe in Vav, sending pure light, energy, love to all the cells in our body. Exhale He through our torso. Let's just return back to our deep belly breathing for a moment and just feel your center and feel grounded. Now just feel your feet. Feel the meridians in your feet. Feel the meridians connecting to the Malchut, all the matter that makes up the universe, this great universe. And these meridians are open channels to Shekhinah, Malchut. Allow this light frequency to shine up through our feet, through all the meridians, up through our ankles, up through our shins and our calves to our knees, the front of our thighs, our hamstrings, our hips, and just let's rest at the base of our spine. And feel that energy of Shekhinah Malchut, that pure feminine life force, channeling pure love, pure honey. And as we sit here, just imagine we're sitting and surrounded by all our gardens, all the beauty of this early spring, just surrounding us. Beautiful pinks and purples and blues and golds, reds. And just find our love, find our beloved there in this garden. And also pay homage to the bubbling springs and the rivers and the falls that are just surrounding the garden, filling each of our souls with negative ions, with pure charged oxygen particles. And just allow that deep longing for God, feeling her presence. And let's just allow the Yesod force, that sexual energy, that charisma, that charm that just generates through our body, that ability that creates birth. And in that birthing cycle, we just generate this energy coming up from the base of our spine, through our foundation, Sefirot, up the spinal column to our heart center. And just allow ourselves just to rest for a moment, just in our heart chamber. This place where Tiferet sits. And today, this place where Malchut and Shekhinah guide Tiferet through all the energy centers of our body. And as we're breathing the scents and the perfumes from our garden, from our beloved, and we're breathing the oxygen from the streams running by, we move into our first gate, into our heart center, where we're greeted by our parents and our ancestors. Charged hugs and kisses. Big arms held high, embraced. Healing millenniums of trauma. Allowing for that bitterness to just disappear in gratitude. And we move into the next gate, through the next gate. We're just surrounded by Chesed and Gevura. That which girds our upper body, that which shields us, that which allows love to flow into us, that which allows our strength to direct us, our sense of justice, our sense of purpose to direct us. And we just sit gently and quietly, observing Chesed, observing Gevura. As we prepare to move through our next gate, we're greeted by Tiferet, this place of just absolute beauty, everything around us. The garden, the streams, the fountains, the falls, our bodies, our minds, our emotions, each other in this space, our community, our planet, all set in stunning, exquisite charms of beauty, precious stones of beauty. God's shining face. And as we move into the next gate, we move into our tent where the indigo skies are just shining bright, filling the tent with light. Maybe you hear a gentle humming, that gentle humming of the primordial sounds of love. And let's just complete with our Yud Hey Vav Hey in silence as we breathe in Yud through our third eye. Exhale, Hey, showering with love. Breathing in Vav, bringing in all the negative ions, charged particles of honey and joy into our cells of our body, and exhaling through our torso. Hey. Yud, hey. Vav, hey. Yud, hey. Vav, hey. Jody?
Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim. Once more, just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the river bank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kein nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim. Kein nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone, from those other realms, and we'll transition now into a discussion or feedback or any sharing that people want to make about their experience with the chants or the meditation or their exploration of the Omer or the Song of Songs. Open Zoom room.
If I could just say that there's a piece in the Torah portion this week about reentry after a disease. And I find that the transition from this really incredible sacred space that we create into this moment is part of our reentry. And my prayer and my hope is that we continue to really embody this transition and all our transitions that we make from the sacred into our world. That as we move from being in with the pandemic and we move out into the world, that we're really guided by the sacred space that we create for one another.
Amen, amen. That is the whole purpose of all this, right? Is like to be able to be that divine channel in as many moments of our day and life as possible. So that was a great metaphor, Steve. Thank you. Okay, John.
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for all this, but I love the different rhythms this time. It really was a great way to rejuvenate and reconnect. And the only thing I want to say for my own life is I just, listened to an oratorical contest with a theme that optimism brings us back to life. And it really is, just think of the wandering in the desert and the optimism that things were going to, they'll get to the promised land. And here we have, and you're right, the reentry is optimism that we're going to come to a better place from where we are. So not that we're all in a bad place, but sometimes we need to remember all the things we can be thankful for. So thank you for this.
And I wanted to welcome Mitzi from Connecticut, who's joining us, who I think, are you a Kazumer?
Hello, thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm from Temple B'nai Israel in Connecticut, little small town in Connecticut. And I'm really so excited because I thought this was a one-time event. And I emailed and I said, can I come to your event? I didn't know at the time this was ongoing, so this is very exciting for me. I'm not a good meditator. I love to chant, but meditation, my mind just wanders. But your meditation, really, my mind wandered 60% of the time. But it felt really enjoyable. It felt really wonderful. So I thank you very much and thank you for welcoming me.
Sure.
Okay, Sandy, Reb Sarah.
So as we were chanting, just as the deer longs for the water, I'm watching at the bay the sparkles of the sun and the waves longing for the edges. So absolutely brings heaven and earth and water magnificent. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Anna L.
Thank you for a beautiful morning. And I feel a sense of real peacefulness. And the fact that we do this week after week builds upon that peacefulness, the practice and the centering and the chanting. It just kind of all helps me to blend into the bigger picture of that we are all one. Devarti.
Monty. I thought you were going to comment on Steve's inclusion of pebbles and stones in his meditation. I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, Anna L is going to have a moment here.
I did have a moment, but I just am savoring it so much inside. Sometimes you want to keep these precious moments within. Thank you, Steve. It's always beautiful.
Thanks. Okay, Phil?
Well, I really want to thank all of you. I think you've just done such a lovely job, Paul, creating the context of from liberation to revelation. It really just meant something to me this week that it hadn't meant in the past. And Jody working hard to learn these chants. These are not just simple 2 lines, it's complicated. And I know that Hebrew is not your native language. So I really acknowledge you for the work you've put in to master it and to present it to us and share it with us. And Steve, I don't know what you did this week, but I was awake the whole time for your meditation. Normally portions that I'm just gone, but I'm awake and really following you and really appreciating the way you were leading us from room to room on the little journey. So it was just lovely. And I just want to thank you all for sharing your wisdom and your beauty with us.
Thank you, Phil, for that recap and for connecting the dots so nicely.
I'll go. Yes, to learn the chants, sometimes when I first hear the melody, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what was Shefa thinking? And then it's like a real surrendering where I have to surrender and just listen to it many, many times. And on the website, it also has, sometimes it has the music along with it. And I mean, I hadn't read music since like high school. So to learn to read music again has been a special treat. I think that's it. I don't know. Oh, I know what I was going to say. In one of Shefa's Thursday night Kazooms, where it's the chant for Love at the Center, and then she usually picks 3 or 4. She talked once about when she picks a melody, sometimes when it's a very upbeat melody, or the prayer is that she's transposing into the chant, if the prayer is like very upbeat and uplifting, she'll sometimes choose a melody that's more melancholy, and vice versa. And I always think that's so fascinating, because some chants are, in the key of G, with no sharps and flats, and then, she'll have like 3 flats, and the Milk and Honey had like 3 flats, and one area it went sharp, and just that dichotomy of an uplifting message with more of a melancholy tune. So I thought that was really fascinating.
Yeah, thanks, Jody. And I did post in the chat here links to Susan Windle's book on counting the Omer that we'll be using for the next 4 weeks. And I also included links to sign up for Shefa's Love at the Center and the Thursday night program that she offers at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. The chant for next Sunday will actually be sent out by Shefa on Monday. So if you want to get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve here, it'll come in your inbox tomorrow if you sign up for that Love at the Center thing.
And my apology for not getting the chant out. I sent it out, but some technical difficulty, what didn't transmit fully, so.
It's all good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words? We're coming up on top of the hour, so. Well, blessings, everyone.
Please
Have a
come back, y'all.
And we will see you next Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for the next step on our journey. Blessings and love.
Thank you.
Oh, you did. You were like, your head was back. Steve, can you stop recording, please?
She was recording.